What's going on, everybody? So today I want to go over all 4 banners in version 3.6 of Honkai Star Rail. I want to talk about the ones with the highest amount of pull value and all this kind of stuff. And I want to talk about Prementor Terra first, and I will keep this chapter short because he's a free unit. Investment into Prementor Terra is just not going to be worth it at all. E0S0 is going to be more than enough for somebody like him. You have to realize that sustains at the end of the day are they're more faceted than you might think. You have Lingsha, who is super break, Huo who is energy regen, Fu Xuan, who just tanks, all kinds of damage, right? Aventurine, who will just keep your team alive with his insane bulletproof shields, right? You even have some of the older ones like Luocha, who still works fine, right? Any sustain that's come out in 1.1 or later is fine. They do different things, but at the end of the day, they will keep your team alive at E0, S0, other than Hyacinth, who maybe you'll want her light cone, right? But that's Hyacinth. We kind of know already that she really needs her light cone. Otherwise, E0, S0 is going to be more than enough for most sustains, including Prementor Terra. So I would only recommend you go all in and investing into him, vertically, if you just love the character that much, if you like Dan Heng. Now, next I want to talk about Evernight, who is a non-free unit, right? The other new unit coming in 3.6. Evernight boils down to 3 things at the end of the day. Number 1, I would only recommend that you pull her even at E0S0 if you have Casters and you want to use your Casters team comp in the long run, right? Minimum for 1 year. Otherwise, there's just no point in getting Evernight because yes, you can use her as a main DPS, but I wouldn't really recommend it, right? Because you could either pull Evernight as a main DPS and make a great team comp out of her, or you can save up for either a 4.0 DPS or a Flynon rerun and have an even greater DPS with the same amount of investment, maybe even less, right? So yes, she will work great as a main DPS, just not going to be the most optimal, which most people don't care about at the end of the day. So I'm not going to say that she's bad or that you will regret pulling Evernight. If you like the character, you should not regret getting her. I'm just letting you know now that if you care about meta that much, then maybe she's not the one for you, right? But Honkai Star Rail is an easy game at the end of the day. If I pulled Evernight on my Casters list account, I will clear with her just fine because this game is easy. So you have to keep all of this in mind, okay? Now the last thing about Evernight is when it comes to a Casters team comp, she's kind of like a tribute or RMC replacement, right? RMC if you want to replace, if you want to use Elation MC in version 4.0, but otherwise it's probably going to be Tribi who you end up replacing. But overall, great unit, right? At her core, she is an HP scaling sub DPS, which is why she synergizes so well with Casters. If I had Casters, I would rather use someone like Evernight over Mayday, for example. So for a lot of you, this is going to be a massive upgrade for your Casters team comp, but just keep everything as said in mind, okay? Now, next up, I want to talk about the Herta, and if you know me, you should know that I really despise rerunning DPSs in every scenario. Even when Flynon does get his next rerun, I will still be on edge about pulling him, especially if it's gonna happen relatively soon, right? So when it comes to the Herta, I don't know, man. I did make a video going over the Herta's pull value in 3.6, same with Evernight and Anoxa actually. But when it comes to the Herta, the thing is, yes, she is good, right? She is a great unit to pull. If you're like a returnee or a new player and you don't care about being optimal in the game, you don't care about the 0 or 1 or 2 cycle clears, you can get the Herta if you just think she's hot or she's cool. But again, just like with main DPS Evernight, from an optimal point of view, it's just not worth it, right? Because once again, would you rather pull a great DPS or would you rather save up and pull an even greater DPS, right? So the Herta is the type of unit where she is great, but she's just not the greatest anymore. And people think that that's because of power creep. I promise you, it's not power creep, right? I'm tired of this bullshit agenda being pushed around. It's not power creep that made the Herta fall off. It's 2 things. Number 1, MOC specifically only caters whoever is the newest that has been added. Well, whoever it is, they are the ones who are going to get shielded and everybody else is going to get shafted. That means that if you want to use your older units, you don't have to combat power creep. You have to invest into those team comps, and that does include the Herta, who is a relatively newer DPS, right? She has not been power crept because out of 4 endgame modes, 5 if you include Divergent Universe. There's only one where she really fell off of, which is MOC. MOC is just, we should know this by now, it just caters the newest units. Pure Fiction, the Herta is still one of, if not the best units to throw in. With Apoc Shadow, there's going to be some refreshes where you can use her and then some where you can't. This applies to every single DPS in the game, right? So many people just try to brute force endgame with the newest units and call it a day. That's not how you play Honkai Star Rail, right? I simply put, it's just not, right? So with the Herta, it's going to be hit or miss for Apoc Shadow, but her best bet for quite a while, other than Pure Fiction, is going to be Anomaly Arbitration, since you need 3 team comps. So I will be using my Herta for quite some time, but there's going to be some moments, some refreshes where I may want to use Archer instead, and Finon of course is going to be a must-have for now. So just keep all of this in mind. The Herta, great, but you're going to want investment. And what I mean by investment in this case specifically is her light cone doesn't make as big of a difference as it might think. What really does make a difference is whether you have Anoxa or Jade. I feel like Anoxa is going to be better than Jade, right? Contrary to what some people might think. But it's going to be hit or miss, depends on your playstyle, your speed tuning, and all of that kind of stuff. Some people would rather have Jade like me. Some people would rather have Anoxa on the team instead. Regardless, if you want the Herta and you don't have Anoxa or Jade, you're probably not going to get the craziest results in the endgame. So you're going to have to keep that in mind, right? That's just how it goes, right? A new unit comes out and early on, you can brute force with any team comp with them. But later on, you're going to need their premium team comp to continue using them in the endgame, or alternatives that have similar kind of functionality or just are good, right? So keep all of this in mind at the end of the day. Just to wrap things up, the Herta, great, will get you to the max stars and will clear endgame for you, just not the most optimal. Now last up, I want to talk about Anoxa. Now, Anoxa, just like Evernight, can be used as a sub DPS or a main DPS, although fundamentally he is a sub DPS at the end of the day. He's great to pull if you want to invest into a team comp with the Herta and, get that kind of thing going on for the long run. Main DPS functionality, whether or not that will work in the long run, is really going to be hit or miss, and even so, Anoxa does have a cool thing with both his bounce and the weakness break, but Finon can kind of do the same thing, but just more powerfully. So you really have to put into question if Anoxa is going to be worth it as a rerunning unit, whether or not you have the Herta in the first place, right? If you have a better DPS, not even just Finon, but if you just have a better DPS or team comps, like maybe you have the Herta with Jade already, or you have Archer with Sparkle, then maybe you don't need Anoxa, simply put, right? And at the end of the day, for all 3 of these units, I would only recommend you pull them if you really like them, because none of these units, right, and I will exclude Permentor Terra because he's free, none of these 3 banners are going to be extremely worth pulling for, right, unless you just like the character themselves, which I understand like why they've done this. 3.6 is a much more chill patch than you might think. This is no 3.4, this is no 3.2, this is not even 2.5 level, right? This is a pretty chill patch overall. These units are either niche or good, but not high-end, top 1, top 2, like the Herta, right? So overall, it's not going to be a patch where you really have to stress out about whoever you want to pull for. My only concern is who's coming after 3.6, because we have a few patches, right? We have a little bit of clairvoyance according to, with leaks and all that, right? 3.7 confirmed is going to have the release of Cyrene, which leakers are saying will be a universal support that works especially well with the Flame Chaser Chrysos heirs, right? So you're going to want to keep all of this in mind, right? Cyrene could very well be in the very first half of 3.7, right? Maybe second half, maybe first half. We don't know yet because there has been no special program or even a beta for 3.7. But you want to keep all of this in mind, okay? Even 3.8 will have the release of Constance, who is a super break support, the first one since Fugue back in 2.7. So you might want to have your eye out on that if you want to revive your old break teams, right? So that's about it for this video. I have nothing else to say. One final time, right? Just a few things of note. Number 1, I do have videos going over all of the 3 non-free units with respective videos for them. And the other thing is that if you skip Anoxa, or you skip, even if you have Casterus, if you skip Evernight, this is not going to be like skipping out Tribi or Robin or Sunday or someone crazy like that, or Finon, right? You're going to be fine. you will live, right? Especially if you're a veteran, you will live. You'll be perfectly fine, but that's about it. I'll see you. Goodbye.